Hey, how are you?
Great. I'm in the middle of a rainstorm,
Oh,
but
yes, we're getting rain too.
we're camping. So I'm hiding out up here where I have a little
Oh,
coverage.
hey, how are you? Oh, wow.
Great. I'm in the middle of a rainstorm.
Okay.
You are too?
No,
I think that was your echo. That was your voice echoing, I
that
think.
was an echo.
Oh, okay.
She's
Be
like, oh my
here now,
God.
Missy.
Great. All right. Well, welcome to the anger management class. Rita Wood and myself are level 4 eutaptics fast EFT practitioners. And so we've worked with hundreds of people on different a skill set really to help with emotions that kind of get a mind of their own. So our system really is about learning how the mind works, how the brain functions, and giving you some skills to help yourself, but really helping you know and try things like what's going to work for you. If you find out what works for you, then you have the keys, right? The power is within. And so we're able to ask some of the questions that will help you be able to really know what to do for yourself in moments when the background, the stuff that's going on in the back of your mind is really controlling your reactions. Has anyone ever had that where your reactions are controlled? And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So that's what it's all about.
Yep. And so what you'll get out of the summer anger management class is going to be 9 classes. And number 1 is, like Tammy was saying, you're going to understand how to direct your own reactions. Like, isn't that wonderful? Like, I would love to know how to direct my own reactions. And which I do know, but wouldn't you love to know, right? Number 2 is know yourself well enough to know what you need to do, because everyone's going to need to do something different, think something different, act different, respond different, take a time out different. Everybody's going to have their own. Number 3 is you're going to learn how to cultivate inner peace, your inner peace. Some inner peace, yours can be riding a motorcycle. Your inner peace could be at the lake on a paddle boat. Your inner peace could be, having a puppy that you get to love and take for a walk. It could be out in nature. Number 4 is create a result you desire. So what is it that you want? Like, we all know what we don't want, because that's kind of how we're trained. That's part of our brain. That's part of our survival part, that we know, I don't want this. I don't want them to do this. I don't want them to say that. I don't want them to act like this. I don't want to respond like this. So we know what we don't want. But number 4 is you're going to cultivate and create results you do desire. So we're going to have to, it's like a chalkboard. Get over here on this side. And what is it that you want? So I encourage you to get a pen and paper, pencil and paper, a notebook, and put on their peace list or peace program, or desires or outcomes. And then start jotting like simple things. I'd like to wake up in the morning with peace. I'd like to receive my husband with love. I'd like to be with the children where I'm just at peace and I don't have to survive, or, you did this wrong, you didn't do it right. I've told you 100 times, right? So, and then number 5 is empower the highest version of yourself. And I think, Tammy, you could probably agree with this. I think it takes time to empower our highest version of ourselves, because we have so many mechanisms, so many layers of the onion. We have so many things that we have really covered it up. We've covered it up with fear, with protection, with anger, with resignation. Fuck it, who cares? I'm not even gonna deal with that. Like all that. So we're gonna have to unravel all of that so you can see your highest version of yourself. For me, for a long time, I thought that was gimmick. I thought that was BS. The highest version of yourself, like, really? It's because there was a lot of hurt and pain that resided in me And so I couldn't even imagine how do I empower my highest version of myself? Sounds so corny. Yeah, you will learn how to stop emotions that are driving you crazy and have a safe and supportive community to deal with the problems and anger. So we have a four steps to how to control your emotions. And it's what we call a stop stress technique. And we'll go over that towards the end, unless you need it now because things are happening. You're trying to get on this call. Drama is occurring. People are, I know, like things start happening. You're up to something good and all this residue of the past starts creeping up on you, right? So maybe you need to know the 4-step process now. Let me see if I can find that. So I can show you the PDF. So get a pen and paper, pencil, write down what you would like to get out of this class. You don't have to share it with us. If you want, you could type it in. I'd like to learn how to gain peace. I'd like to empower myself in my relationship. I'd like to stop, acting cray-cray. Whatever it is, what would you like to get out of this class? Even if you just learned one little thing, even if you left this class with just one little layer of breath, right? So, and then Tammy, I'm going to look for that stop stress thing, and then we can go over that.
Great. So I'll share just a tad bit of a very important story for me, which was when I was in a deep depression. I was going through a custody battle with my ex-husband, and I just remember thinking, it can't get any worse. Like, what else could possibly happen? And I just was doing everything I could think of to try to explain to the courts and have him, take responsibility and all of these things. And then the kids are in the middle, right? And so I didn't realize what kind of the thoughts and the things that I was thinking about and how it was causing the way that my body felt. I didn't understand that correlation. And so I was a victim because I didn't realize that there's a part of me that is capable of redirecting thoughts and sensations so that I don't have to be the victim to that. And that's what I learned. And it literally changed my life to the point where I even forgot a court date, and that I was so stressed and so anxious before that. I have no idea how I could have forgotten, but I did remember just in time. And so I got there, but just night and day as far as my emotional state was. And so I'm really grateful for the understanding of how our brain works and how we can work with it instead of always fighting it and feeling like we're kind of behind the 8 ball.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Did you find it?
I did. Do you want to? And look, we're just going to give you the cheat sheet, and we can go through the science later. We can tell you exactly why it would work later. But this is just to get you out of that trance, what we call a trance, that gets you out of that hypnotic state. Even if you do it right now while we're explaining it, you will notice the physiology will shift and will change. You will feel lighter, brighter. You might get a little like, woo, this feels kind of, and this is you doing it to you. So it's not like we're doing it, from osmosis. And you can do this technique and you can take it anywhere, right? You can excuse yourself, go to the toilet, use this technique, and no one's going to know the difference. You're going to come out, you're going to be like, appropriate. You let go of that shit. Now you're coming back out to the family, to the dinner party or whatever, and your face is going to change. Your emotions are going to change. You're going to be well rested because you nipped it in the butt. There's this thing that happens is when we start, things that fire together, wire together. So if you're angry and you're eating, or you're angry and you're, and your body gets all hot and steamy and you're flush and that stuff's getting wired together. So things that fire together wire together. So what you're doing when we show you this technique is you're negating that. You're flattening that neuron. You are squashing it. You're not letting it go up to the peak. You're not going into that trance. You're nipping it at the butt. Okay? Who wants to know the technique? Can you guys give me a thumbs up? Let me know that you're still with us, that you're awake. And I know some of us are going to be like, did I do it right? Did I say it right? It really does not matter. You will do it. And yeah, perfect. Okay. I will share my screen. And this is the stop stress technique. And we made it into 4 steps. And Tammy, you want to?
So what happens when we have anything that we do over and over, we get good at, right? So you know how to tie your shoes, you know how to drive a car, you know how to put your makeup on, you know how to comb your hair. These are things that we've practiced and are a program that becomes very easy for us to do. So I just want you to understand that emotions are similar. They're the same way. When we practice an emotion, then our brain knows how to do that emotion and drop all the chemicals into our body just as fast as you know how to tie your shoe without thinking about it, right? So a lot of this stuff going on in the background that we're not thinking about is because we practiced it unknowingly, unaware, right? And not realizing that when we practice something, we automatically do it that way. So if you're always buckling your seatbelt when you get in a car, try not buckling. Like it's going to be hard, right? And that's the same with anger or sadness or pain or frustration. Any emotion can also get out of control. And so we want to give you some steps to help control this emotion. But more than that, something that you can use over and over so that you can reprogram to have more of the emotion you actually want. And that's just how the brain works. Anything that you practice, it will start to do for you. Your brain will do it for you. And you've all experienced that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You drive a car and you're like, how did I get there? Because you always go that same way, right? So that's what our brain is very good at. It loves what we call patterns. It loves programs. And an emotion becomes a pattern inside your brain. All right, so the 4 steps, can you slide that down, Rita, for me? I can't see it all anyway. Can you guys? Okay, so the first thing we really want to do is kind of pause ourselves and give ourselves something different. So if we're going into a state where we're starting to become angry, maybe you notice it like bubbles like rising up, maybe you notice heat, maybe you notice there's a thought that goes off and then boom, it feels like a bang. So what we want to give you is we want to give our physical body a different sensation than what it's used to. So the stop technique is STOP, and we're going to give you an acronym. S is smile, and we want you to look up, because what happens is a lot of those emotions that constrict and make us feel this, helpless, powerless victim, defend yourself, kind of we kind of look down and we start to get this kind of posture. So we want to actually look up and smile. We're going to tell our body, we're not being eaten by a tiger or bear. We don't have to fight for our life. It's just somebody said something we don't like. And we just want to put it into perspective. So look up and smile. This changes our physiology from the outside in. Confuse your brain pattern. Remember, that's the emotional pattern, by smiling big. All right. And so maybe if you're in public, it's going to look weird, or maybe they're just going to think, wow, she's really happy, or he's really happy. But just like give yourself a quick pause in a different experience. If this isn't different than what you've been doing, then you're probably not having anger. But if it's different, just think about Einstein and how Einstein said we cannot get different results with the same pattern, right? So we're going to do something different. Why? Because it works. So think about that. It works. So S is smile, look up, give yourself a different perspective, and then we're going to tap. And so there's lots of different tapping techniques. You can tap your head and rub your belly. You can tap our 5 spots that we recommend are kind of between the eye, beside the eye, under the eye. We usually tap with 2 fingers, collarbone. You can shift it up and tap with 4 fingers, tap with 1 finger. And what we're doing is just bringing ourselves back to the present. So we tap to interrupt this brain pattern and this wiring. It interrupts the way your brain is already set to whoosh, go right into that emotional state. And it will help you to think something different. All right. If you're saying like, oh, I can't believe she, blah, blah, blah. You're going down the same path. What is the result going to be? The same exact thing. You know it, right? So these are tools to help you do something else. I have a lady who doesn't like tapping, so she sits here and she calls it milking. She milks her hands, but it's an interruption and it gives her a physical sensation. We like tapping because these are literally acupuncture points, acupressure points.
Yeah, if you guys can do that now, please do that now. Just
So look up and smile.
No one, some of us, we can't see you, so just go up, smile right there. Tap between your eyes, side of the eye, underneath the eye, collarbone.
Look around.
You can go like, yeah, look around. Look for some red stuff. Look for some green stuff. Take a nice deep breath. Swing your arms up. Because now you're doing something different. Your physiology's shifting. And it even feels good to like move. You hold your wrist.
You're going to be all angry and stuck inside your body. You're like, just, there's more to life, right? And then we hold our wrist. And this is where we go to a memory or a place in our life, like the lake, right? I could take this today and say, I remember sitting out in the lake when it was raining and it was so beautiful and it smelled so good. And the sunshine was out earlier. I felt the sunshine on my face. So all I have to do is think of that moment in time and my brain will give those chemicals instead of angry chemicals. Can you believe that? All you have to do is think about something you like and your brain will give you those chemicals.
Tammy's talking about play and peace. So this is being playful. Going to that happy memory, a good memory.
So the taking the breath in is that oxygen. You're doing your subconscious a favor by managing the breathing for a moment. When we get angry, do you know that you're breathing really super shallow and probably hard? Like, you're doing this unconsciously. So take control of that part of you and say, I'm perfectly safe. I'm not in a fight. Nobody's hurting me. Nobody's killing me. Nobody, I mean, if they are, then there's a time for that, right? You want to be able to breathe fast and run and fight. But since it's just your everyday stuff going on, we want to interrupt. So use that oxygen. And then we anchor in these good places. So we really want to step into our body and the memories that we love most. I really like using places because it doesn't involve a person that I could have a bad experience with or a person that's no longer alive or an animal that, you have good and bad experiences, but a place in nature that you love.
There's some stuff in there. So
is really nice.
You want to notice what you're hearing in that memory and what you're imagining and what it looks like and the warmth and the love. I mean, you might even gush out in some really appreciation and gratitude and love because you got to go to that memory. And if you're feeling any resistance is a part of you that is wanting to keep you even more safe. So what do? You continue. You're all like, I'm right here. I'm sitting here. I'm okay. I'm just listening to this talk. I'm just being present, and you're just happy. Breathe, let it go. Take your mind over to nature, to the lake, and it's redirecting. It's capturing every thought, capturing every emotion, capturing every feeling, sensation until you start feeling good. And don't stop until you feel good. And see, we'll quit. So another thing that you could do is gauge it. 0, it doesn't bother me. 10, it was really strong. So that way you know where you were. I'll be like, oh, that was a 7 feeling of yuckiness or anger or sadness. And you will notice as that 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 starts getting lesser, then those emotions of anger will be disappointment, it'll be frustration, it'll be sadness, and then you're like empowered, and then you're going to sense an opportunity to let it go, because you know that you can. You know that it's not that important, that they didn't text you at 5 o'clock. It didn't mean that they didn't love you and they want a divorce. You know, that what happened to create that frustration, that resentment, is old memories, old feelings that come back up until we start flattening those neurons. So isn't that awesome? So we give you, this is the easiest, fastest way to do it, to get out of a funk. You can do the 4 steps until you feel better. Keep doing it. Persistence. Yep. P is playful, peaceful, persistent, until you get total peace, and 0 tolerance for feeling icky, angry, upset. 0 tolerance. And your brain knows, oh, she's real, she's serious. And if you don't trust yourself, it's okay. Look, we're learning how to take control of our emotions, right? We're learning. This is step by step.
Yep. And it's really important that you know that you can just go back and do it again. So initially, if you're really getting angry and you're like, I'm going to blow at this person, like, what in the world? How stupid, all those thoughts that go on in our head. And if, so the first round, we might be able to be peaceful for 2 seconds, right? And be like, oh yeah, I was in nature. But I can't believe. So then we do it again. Let it go. Let it go. It's all right. Just let it go. Peace. And we do that. And another important thing is when we step into a memory. So like our memories have a lot of different perspectives. Sometimes when we think of something, we're watching the memory. That means we're watching our body in the memory. If you ever think of a memory and you're like, oh, I'm literally watching it like I'm watching a movie, but I was in that. Okay. That's one way we look at a memory. It's really important that with your good memory and your happy place, if you will, that you get into your body and see it from behind your eyes. Because too often the traumas and the pains and the hurts, we step inside and look from outside at the memory. And too often for good and happy moments, we are watching it. And so we're not experiencing it like we would if we see it. Do you understand what I mean? Like if I see the memory, like I'm behind my eyes looking out and experiencing it. Does that make sense? Roddy gets it? Good. Oh, hi, Andrew. You're here too. And Gracie, welcome. Jason, welcome. Good. So taking these steps and using it for yourself, I know it's going to feel maybe a little strange at first, and it will feel like, how come this is so different? Well, it's different because we need to do something different, right? And you're going to just play with it to find out what works for you. What do you love, right? I love dogs, but you might be like, I'm scared of dogs. Well, don't use a dog for your happy memory or your peaceful place, right? And you can't, because it won't work for you like it works for me. So we want to give you the tools to do for yourself what is going to work for you.
Very good. Very good. And so, our work, the work that we do is a thinking system. It's how we think. It's how we think, how we feel, that gives us the results that we have, whether we like them or not. And we know that we were born into that. Like, we were born into a family that had their skills and their talents and their beliefs. So we learned them from them, right? And then they had their skills. You were born into that skills, and then the stage was already set. So there's nothing you can do about it when you were little. You just learned what you learned. You were affected and you were influenced by your parents, by your teacher, by your culture, by your religion. That's how you got affected. So you created your experiences created a belief system, a coping system. It created a perception of who you are, who the world is, who you are for people. Like then you created an I am this, I am sad, I am angry, I am lonely, I am not good enough. So we created our own coping mechanism because it was easier. It was like the only emotional intelligence we had at that moment. So we created an identity and we identify and we start operating from that. So if I feel like I'm not worthy, guess what kind of relationships I'm going to get? Financial relationships, emotional relationships, family relationships, intimate relationship. If I feel like I'm not good enough, guess what kind of people I'm going to attract? Either I'm going to treat people like they're not good enough, or they're going to treat me like I'm not good enough. And I'm going to fit right into that model of the world. So we know that all our experiences show up in today's world as a metaphor. Our brain works as a metaphor. It feels like our inner references will show up in the foods we eat, the people we hang out. And I know it sounds super, super duper weird because when I first heard it, I'm like, what? What does that mean?
And let's explain that. So the other day somebody was telling one of the kids like, oh, what did they say? I can't even think of it. It was such a great metaphor. But these metaphors show up like I'm burning with anger. All right. Or I have butterflies in my stomach. So we know what that feels like inside, but it's not true. It's a metaphor for the feeling. All right. I have a lump in my throat or a frog in my throat. When the other shoe drops or when the crap hits the fan, we have a physical sensation from these kinds of words that create a feeling for us. That's a metaphor, a metaphor according to our feelings.
Yeah, and everyone's metaphor will be different. And this is why in the beginning we talked about like how you relate to what's happening in your life. Like how are you doing anger? So on a piece of paper, I want you to write down the first time or the most recent time you got angry. Okay, and I just want you to give it a title. Oh, the toilet seat was up. They didn't fill up the gas. Common sense. If you're going to use my car, they should fill up the gas. Whatever it is, because that is a metaphor of what's happening inside you. The last disappointment you had, the last sadness, whatever it is that you want to work on for today. And don't pick a big one because, this is your first time. So we want to just give you a little feel for how you can do this on your own. Of course, we can, personally, when we do personal sessions, we do one-on-one sessions. We do it like, kind of like this, where we ask questions and we write down belief system perspectives, old memories, like something might have popped up, and 0, it doesn't bother me. 10, if I was to go there when my mom, spanked me in the 9th grade, if I was to go there, 0 doesn't bother me, 10 is really strong. So I can gauge it. 10, I feel it, I see it, I hear it. Okay, if I was to go there, I'm not going to go there now, but so that lets you know you have some control and some say. So does everybody have a title? Does everybody have something they can work on? You could either type the title in, like it could be the park, or it could be the title is only to help you go there.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Yes. Gretchen?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I don't have explosive anger. I never lose my temper. I am always angry. So I don't have an event to look to say that made me angry.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
angry about trauma from my past.
Okay, perfect. So this is great because you get to work from wherever you are. So maybe your title is I have no explosive anger. I'm angry all the time. Maybe your title is angry all the time. Like that's what it is.
Okay.
Nothing right, nothing wrong about that. I'm angry all the time. And I just want you to know how you know. 0, it doesn't bother me. 10, it's really strong. Look, if it doesn't bother you that you're angry all the time, shit, you're great. There's nothing wrong. Only you get to decide if that's good or bad for you. Is it healthy for you? Does it make you feel good? Does it give you energy in life? Does it, that will be yours. So angry all the time. 0 doesn't bother me. 10, it's really strong. Okay. And then I want you to ask yourself, the next question is how do I know I'm angry all the time? Do you feel it? Do you see it? Do you hear it? Do people tell you? Just write it down. I'm angry all the time because I have this emptiness in my throat.
So I'll explain that a little bit. When I was in a session, somebody said, how do you know you're sad? And I'm like, well, he cheated and they took the kids and this and this, and I have a list of things that would prove this sadness, right? And then she said, and how do you do it inside? What does it feel like inside of you? So when you think of anger, what does it feel like inside of you? And I sat there for a moment and thought about my physical body. What does it feel like? And I said, oh, it's a lump in my throat. So for you, it's going to be different. But for me, sadness was a lump in my throat. And I knew it because I had just gotten sad. And when somebody asked that specific question, how am I doing it inside of me? Not how come I'm mad, not all the stories, but how does it physically feel to be inside, to have that experience of an emotion? Felt like a lump in my throat.
And when you're doing this, you're visiting this title with curiosity, with calm, with compassion. There's nothing right or wrong about this. This is you being objectively open to how you're doing it inside. And how does that, 0 doesn't bother me, 10, it's really strong. Like that sensation is thick, it's goopy, it's wet, it's warm, it's musty, whatever it is for you. And we're just exploring. And as you're doing this, I want you to continue to breathe in and out of your nose because I want you to be here and I want you to stay here. And I don't want you to go there, right? So you have your title, you have how you're doing it inside. And when you're in a session with us, we will ask, where have you felt that sensation? Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and just notice that sensation. Where have you felt that? The first time, the worst time. I don't want you to go there. I just want you to write the title. Okay, my mom yelling at me when I was 2. How do I remember that? I don't know. When I got spanked, when I was your first memory, whatever it is. And you could just give that a title. I can call mine spanking. And then 0 doesn't bother me, 10 is strong, I'm not there. If I was to be there, I don't know, maybe a 1, just because I know that happened. Maybe I haven't flipped that and rewrote that one very well because it still came up. What's another question, Tammy?
Who are you because of it? So as we define a belief system around that experience that happened, who are you? The last time you got angry, who were you? The last time, or when, this situation happened when you were younger, who were you? It's only a part of us, but sometimes we identify with it so completely that it overwhelms us, right? It takes over. So it's nice to always just remind ourselves, a part of me blew up, or a part of me was burning with anger, or a part of me was so hurt, or a part of me was frustrated.
Very good. And then you want to assess that. 0 doesn't bother me, 10 it's strong. Is it disappointing? Is it sad that you reacted this way? What is it? Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me that I'm angry all the time or sad all the time, or makes me sad that I'm sad, some of the time. It's not the person I want to be. It's not the highest version of how I want to react towards my kids. And sometimes we're not able to look at that in a neutral perspective, but this is an opportunity for you to bring it up to the forefront of your mind, and we can flip it and switch it and make it nice again. So just having that title. So now I want you to go back to, that playful peacefulness, so you guys know what your favorite place to go see, what is it, nature? What's your happy memory? So we just call it happy memory, but it could be a happy thought. It could be a happy song. It could be, maybe it's just peaceful. Maybe it's not even happy. It's just neutral. It's just, a love, a deep, when the baby was born, when your firstborn was born, or when you first got a puppy, or when you see a child laugh, find something that shifts the energy in your body. And that's very, very.
Your favorite flower, a favorite scent. Like we can, the music, the smell, we can use our senses to feel that love feeling, like that peace feeling, or that good feeling.
Yeah. So what I want you to do is I need you to step into that memory, into that feeling, that sensation, that thought of love, grace, gratitude. I need you to go in there, and you want to milk it. You want to savor it. You want to expand on that sensation. And if you're having a difficult time, look, I was there. I would tap. If I was having a difficult time not remembering, because look, we know that the brain covers that up because we are in fight, flight, or freeze. There's no room for happiness. What if I'm happy and I get a whooping and a spanking? I get yelled at. I mean, it's part of the survival brain. So some of us, it might take a little bit longer to develop and find happy memories, happy sensations. But now today, look, it's easier to learn how to swim when you're not drowning. You guys aren't drowning right now. You're learning how to do your strokes. You're learning how to do the back strokes. You're learning how to do the butterfly, right? By even having these words, your brain's going there like, oh, that was a happy memory when I was 3 years old and I was out in the patio on the cement with a little puddle of warm water, like wherever you need to go. And when we get off this call, we're going to be here next Monday. You need to go find you don't need to. You get to go find some more happy memories. Go pull out your 80s music, play the radio, sing, dance. We know that moving, the science is out, guys. The science is out that moving, smiling sends good chemicals to your body. It's been proven over and over again. Okay. So now that you're at your happy memory, you've already soaked in it and savored it. So now I want you to come back out, take a deep breath in and just say peace. You're anchoring that peace, that happiness. Now I want you to go to that memory. That memory, the one that bothers you, the one you didn't like, the one that it was high. Go back to that memory. And just notice how it bothers you. See it, feel it, hear it. You got it?
Here's something to notice, which I was just so unaware of when I first learned this work, is like I would repeat things. I might even just repeat a story and just say those words over and over and over, like, he really hates me to do this. He really hates, and then, you know, so think about how you're doing it inside of your thoughts. I'm going to get him. I can't stand her. Why is she so stupid? Why is she so stupid? And, you know, sometimes you just, so we call it ruminating. And if you're like me, then you do that. And if you're like me in another way, you would picture things like, you know, a rock falling on them or throwing something at them, or like, you know, or the last thing that happened that really hurt you, you'd replay that visually, seeing it over and over and over. So we just want you to be aware that if it's not happening right now and your brain is replaying it on you, that's what you're interrupting. That's the pattern the brain wants to repeat over and over, and it's not healthy for you to do something over and over in your head that wasn't healthy in the first place, right? So think about, when I think, how do I know this happened? Am I replaying it over and over visually? Do I see it like a movie? Is it a picture of their face and I just feel this horrible feeling? Or am I repeating these words over and over in my head?
Yeah.
Do I have a sensation like somebody's gripping my heart or choking my neck?
Who would like to share how they are seeing it, or how you're
experiencing it?
How you're experiencing that memory that you're going to work on that title.
I mean, I've worked with enough people to know I'm not crazy, and it happens to everybody. So, and you guys can know that too. Like, you're normal. It happens to everybody. No, you're perfectly normal, but now you're becoming aware, like, oh, here I've been.
Does anybody have a memory, a title?
Yeah. I ruminate.
So title. Jason ruminates, he says. That little wench.
So you're saying things and you're thinking about it, the same kind of sentence over and over, or, you know, and it's creating a sensation. So everything happens twice, first in your mind and then in reality. And if you don't believe that, then think about the clothes you're wearing, the phone you're holding, or the computer. Somebody thought of it and then it was created. So this also happens for our body. We think it and the body creates a chemical state. Okay. So as you think of your memory, how do you even know that it ever happened? Might be weird to think of it this way. We're still live, aren't we? Everyone's frozen.
No one's frozen.
Guys. It's your opportunity to work with two practitioners. You feel it, right? And does it feel like somebody's squeezing your heart?
Because not every anger is about a person. I'm angry because I have cancer. I'm angry because people have died that I need in my life right now, and they were murdered. So I don't understand at all. Like, you're telling me to go back to an event that happened. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Picture cancer?
Sure. Like, how do you know? Because cancer is a metaphor, right? You have it. It's in your body. It's eating you up, right? It's taking over. It's deteriorating, right?
No, I rebuke that. I do not accept that. No.
Okay, perfect. You don't accept it. How do you know that's
some stupid test result from a doctor?
Okay. So that title right there, Gretchen, what I want you to do is look, imagine I had a tree in front of you and I pulled the roots out of the tree. What naturally happens to a tree without roots?
It dies.
That's right. Now I want everybody to follow along. I eliminate right there, Gretchen, right between the eyes. I eliminate, release and let go of the sadness, fear, emotional trauma, the cancer. I let it go. The anger, the reminiscing. I let it go. I let it go. All the
The
people who
doctors,
died,
no,
I let it
the
go.
past, the
Death,
history, like
illnesses,
the
I let
pain,
it go.
let it
I let
go.
it go. I'm safe
It's
as
okay to let it go.
It's
It's
time
safe
for me to
and
let
it's
it go.
not
I need to
happening.
get healthy. I need to get strong. I let go of the anger. Anger's not going to help me. I let it go. Keep tapping and then breathe in. Out of your nose, nice and easy. Get some oxygen in those cells. The cells need oxygen. They need air. They need life, right? Take a deep breath in, blow it out. Say peace. Everyone go to a happy state, whatever that happy state is for you. If that's, your grandbabies, your children, your little mouse, everyone go to a happy memory, go to a happy feeling, put your hand over your heart if it's hard for you to find something, and just be grateful that you're here, that you're alive, that you're breathing. Yeah, you can, if you look, if you're in public, the way you tap is you can just go like this. You know how kind of sometimes you have a headache, or you're just kind of rubbing your temples. You kind of just go like this. You just take a deep breath in. That's how you tap. No one needs to know you're tapping. This is mental tapping. You could do mental tapping. Just mentally notice tapping here, and just notice tapping inside of the eye, underneath it. Just notice it. Just by even noticing is enough to bring the attention to that area. Take a deep breath in, blow it out, and say peace.
Yeah. It's an interruption, and the physical process is typically faster, but obviously in public, you can look with your eyes, like look up, look to the side, or you can kind of rub your eyebrow and be like, I'm letting this go right now. Inside your head, whatever you're doing in your head is what matters. And so being aware of what is going on in your head is what's going to make the difference for you. So I understand that. And I mean, I've seen people tap in public. I'm like, oh, I tap her. Cool. But sometimes all you have to do is like, sometimes I just hold my wrist and I'm like, okay, it's time to go to peace right now. Like you start thinking about your whale or the lake, or, be there with your dog on a walk. And when I do that, then I already start to change the chemicals in my body. We change the chemicals in our body by what we're thinking about. Sometimes we need tapping if it's getting really strong, and sometimes we can just go directly to different thinking.
That's right, Julie. Some schools are showing children how to tap. Yep. That's
Very
great.
powerful.
All right, guys,
there are
go
doctors.
back there. Let's go back there. We have 10 minutes, Tammy. Let's
Okay.
get some flipping here.
Go.
Go back there. You went to your happy memory. You said peace. Now go back to that word, that title, that upset, whatever it is. Just notice what's changed. Notice what hasn't. Notice your body. Breathe air into your body. Get some oxygen into those lungs, into those cells, into your brain. And just notice what's changed. And notice what hasn't. And notice how you know it hasn't changed. 0 doesn't bother me. 10, it's strong. Maybe it went from a 9 to a 10. Maybe it went from a 9 to a 20. I don't know. You know. So notice that. Now look up, smile, and tap. Let it go. Let it flow. Let it out. Let it switch it, flip it, make it nice again. Whatever this is, I let it go. The sadness, the cancer, the illness, the anger, whatever the sensation is, I let it go. And then you could do like George. You guys know George? George of the jungle. Watch out for the peace. Okay, very good. Now go.
Stretch. Start to feel differently. Hello.
And
Start to
sometimes
give
I
your
have
body a
people,
different experience.
sometimes we have people stand up. Go ahead and stand up. You could shake things off, just roll things off, just wiggle, jiggle, just move your body. Your body is meant to be moved. We are not mummies. We don't lay on, on the whatever. And, we need
It's
to
just like
move.
anything in life. Stagnant things start to rot, right? Stagnant pools of water become yucky, and our body is our vessel for our spirit. So let's or for life, however we view it. And so think about, we're going to create a different process for it. And sometimes we're going to take the body to do that. And sometimes we're going to take the mind to do that. but we have options. We can do either. So now go back and notice, and even if you switched places with that person, what would you notice about yourself? So
And
in your mind,
I was gonna
What
say,
was
and for those who don't have a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing, it could be your toaster, it could be your
you're mad at your toasters, then trade places with your toaster. Now you're the one burning toast. But here's what, but now I want you to imagine if you're the toaster versus, for instance, or if you're the friend or the enemy or the ex or the child, and you look and notice yourself, what would you notice about yourself? Would you notice you look angry, you look sad, you'd feel empathetic? Good. Would you notice your eyes are furrowed? Would you notice there's steam coming out of your ears? What would you notice about yourself? Because we get to choose all the different perspectives from a memory. If it's not happening right now, we can choose the perspective to view it from.
My skin will get really warm and I'll start to sweat. Like you said, I'll feel that lump in my throat. I'll get really dry in my throat as well. These
Yes.
are signs that I know that the situation that I'm going through is angering me. And sometimes I try to catch those signs. Sometimes I can't. But those are the signs that I like.
That you're aware of.
That's what I'm feeling before that sense of anger comes, and I'm still learning how to cope with it. And I'm hoping that these 9 sessions here is going to help with that. And I feel like it is based off this hour that we've been here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this works. But that's
Good
what
job.
Good
You know what?
job.
It's for you. So you find out what works for you. And like I said, we're giving you tools. There's lots of ideas that, what we want you to do is pause and interrupt it. But the fact that you notice it and you're aware of it is the first step. We'll just blow up and then be like, what happened? Right. Well, and when we start to notice and be aware, then we can start to take steps to say, you know what? I'm not going down that path. I'm going over here. So I'm just going to let it go, because no matter how angry you are, it's probably not going to make the situation better.
Yeah.
Just a fact. And I think we're all old enough to probably realize that and have experienced it enough, right?
It used to work when we were 2 or 5, but it doesn't work anymore. And Julie says, doing the technique will help me be more mindful, and that will help me stop my anger getting worse. Totally, definitely. And whenever you notice, Gretchen, whenever you notice cancer, whenever it pops in your mind, just tap it away until you make complete peace. Okay, I know you're not owning it, but just the thought of it makes you something happy, joyful, angry, sad, lonely, and you want to tap that out. You want to let that, because it's holding something on you, right? And I feel that with this work, it'll help your mind, your brain create happy hormones, happy, not stressful ones, not fight or flight, not anger. It'll help you redirect your brain to a more peaceful state where your body needs to heal. Your body needs to heal from that, and it needs to be in a peaceful state. We know that. The science is out on that, right? People who have been diagnosed with illnesses that start doing happy things that make them joy, things that their life gets better. Their life gets better with or without cancer. It gets better. So I implore you and I encourage you to keep breathing and tapping and saying peace and finding that peace program that fits you. Everyone else here is gonna have their own peace project. So that's your week. That's your homework, guys, for this week. Is find happy memories, find happy states, find peaceful programs, peaceful states. We're really good at finding all the things that piss us off and gets us off out of control. I mean, it gladly comes to us. We don't even have to ask for it anymore.
Don't have to work at it or nothing. It's just natural. Okay. So we're kind of going against the natural grain, but that's what we got to do to give ourselves the power to change things, because we cannot change. Hopefully, I know for myself, I've learned this, and the frustration and the anger that arose when I'm trying to change someone else is just about the hardest thing in the world. How, when I know that I can change myself, there's so much power, inner power, empowerment for us, right? And we never can change somebody else. But when we change, I guarantee you, you will find that other people change. And I know it's true. And so it starts with us. And this is the best way that we know to give you the tools to do this. So, you know, just when I just did that and I said, switch perspectives, notice what it is about you. One of you felt empathetic towards yourself from that person's view. That's great. Then you're starting to heal and starting to see it from a perspective of, you know, it's not you. It wasn't you that somebody did this wrong thing. And it's easier to start forgiveness. And if it is you, then you can look at the face and tap and say, I let go of those angry eyebrows. I let go of that sad face. You know, it's over and I'm ready to move on. And take that deep breath in. Peace. So what are those 4 steps? Does anybody remember S? Type it in, say it out loud. We're making it as easy as we can to brain train.
Smile.
What was it, Roddy?
Smile.
Smile. That's right. We're going to give our body something different than what it's used to doing. All right. And number 2, T. Tapping. Right?
Tapping is transforming. You can use any transformational process. This is tapping's the fastest, the quickest, the one we know that can get changes fast. Until your brain has been trained. Until your brain has been trained, then you could do other things. I had to do a lot of squats. I had to go physical. Because I was so angry and so stuck and so stagnant, and I didn't want to move, and I was so paralyzed that I had to do squats. I had a bad thought, squats. I had a bad feeling, squats, until I broke those neurological patterns. Okay, right. That's T.
That's T. Good job. And O. Oxygen, right? So let's breathe. Why? Because our body's going like this when we're angry. It's going, oh, we're not thinking about it. And we're going to just give ourselves some oxygen. It's going to go to our prefrontal cortex. It's going to help us think. When we're angry, we lose 80% of our blood from our thinking part of our brain. Have you ever felt like you're not thinking when you're angry? It's because you don't have any blood up there. So start breathing and get the oxygen up there. And then P, the best part ever. This is where you get to practice something. What is it? Peace, playfulness, persistence. I mean, just think of peace. If you can just practice peace, you will change your life. You've been practicing anger for a long time, guys. Okay. You can empower yourself by thinking about things that make you feel peaceful. And it's the truth, and it will set you free.
Hey guys, what did the ocean say to the shore? Anybody?
Wave?
Nothing. It just waved.
I know we're not starting dad jokes in here because I will ruin everyone.
It waved. What was that, Roddy?
I said, I know y'all aren't doing dad jokes in here. I will ruin everyone.
What kind of hair does the ocean have?
Seaweed?
It's a wave.
Oh, funny.
What
Seaweed's
was Tigger
good.
doing in
I
the
like
toilet?
that.
What was Tigger doing? What?
What was Tigger doing in the toilet? Looking for poo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Looking for poo.
That's a good one.
Very good.
Great. Well, do all of you feel like you have a little bit of some skills that you can help yourself with? You know, we don't always want to have to go to a therapist or to our mom or to somebody else, you know, and not that that's not great and we can connect and things like that. But do you feel like you can start to make some headway on your own, that you have some more skills to try? Yeah.
Yes, it'll definitely help.
Excellent. Very good. That's the whole goal.
I've tried the tapping many times and it's never worked.
And
I'm
so
trained in
tapping,
tapping classes and it doesn't work at all for me.
so what you do after tapping is the most important part. And they don't teach that a lot, but did they teach you what to do after tapping?
That I
And what
learned
did
all
they
the
say?
breathing exercises, how you breathe in through your nose and then exhale through your mouth, and you do it slowly, and you do it 10 times, and you count while you do it. None of it works. Absolutely none of it. By
have
the
you
end,
had a
I'm so angry, I want to kill people.
have you had any personal sessions
Many.
with fast reactive tactics practitioners?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Many.
Huh. Interesting. That's a first. There's always a first. Well, congratulations.
Pressure points work for me, but I have to push really deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Aw.
That's
I
So-
can't reach them. The ones in my back that I need to touch, I can't reach.
It is most important, not only the breathing, it's most important that you are practicing what helps you feel peaceful by stepping into that memory like you're there and looking
think
at
I-
it out from your eyes.
I don't think
from-
I want peace. I want war.
okay.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
believe in
right.
peace. I'm not after peace. I'm after war.
Okay.
You can't beat cancer peacefully. You don't come into peace with cancer.
How about anger?
No, I accept my anger. My anger, I mean, I'm not hurting anybody with my anger. I'm not having outbursts, but it's probably making me worse because I don't even go around people anymore
Yeah.
because I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm trained to kill and I don't want to lose my temper. So I just stay home and isolate.
Yeah.
So the option is to practice peace and see if there's a different way of dealing with things, but mostly anger is very hard on your heart and your body.
No,
and you're
because
aware.
you said the event is over. It's in the past. It's not in the past. I'm dealing with it every day.
You
Yeah.
are dealing with it, but is the event still happening right now?
Yes, it's still happening every day that the cancer is trying to kill me. So I'm not safe. I'm not okay.
Oh, I thought you had said somebody else had cancer. And
I am battling cancer and everybody that I need to support me is dead. Some were murdered and some died of cancer.
yeah, so what
And
things
putting a
will
new
help you?
support system together has not worked.
Are you willing to do something different, Bridget?
I mean, if you had something different, but what you presented today is what I've tried in the past.
Are you saying you've tried to be peaceful?
Yes, many times.
Well, and we know that it's levels and layers. Like we all come in from different levels and different layers, different perspectives, different belief system. So all those belief system and perspectives are going to give us the results that we have, whether we like them or not. Right?
I mean, something that helps is boxing classes.
Say that again.
I do like boxing classes,
Oh, good. Okay.
but I don't have access to that where I'm at. So, and I don't have a punching bag. So, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
This actually, I want to tell you, this is making me really angry
Yeah.
because it's like I've tried everything. I've taken so many classes. I've done so much counseling and nothing works.
Yeah. Are you willing to do something different?
I already told you we tried peace. That didn't work.
I know, but that's once. It's like, do you go poop once? No, you go poop every single time. You eat every day. You drink water. So we do different things.
I just feel like it's going to be the same old stuff, but I'll try again one more session.
Yeah,
But today I nearly logged out 3 times.
I think you did log out.
Well, it's
No,
a
that's my
pattern,
internet connection. I didn't log out on purpose, but I nearly left the session
and that's fine. You know, you
because
get
it was
to
triggering
choose.
the crap out of me because I took so many classes in this and nothing worked.
Perfect.
You
If
get to choose.
Gretchen, if you could stay behind, I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to help you get a breakthrough of some sort. If it's not this kind of work, maybe it's a different modality. Maybe this is what we believe is that what's going to work, it's going to work with the modality and the belief system that you have. So if you think Jesus Christ is going to save you, then that will help, because that whatever's going to drive you to peace. If you think going to the medical field and having them amputate, do whatever, that's going to save you, that will help. Whatever we believe, whatever our belief system is, whatever our perspective of life is, it's going to help us get out of it until it doesn't. And then we're out searching for other stuff. So always keep an open mind. Know that this work is a thinking system. We must change how we think. We must change what we don't have to. We get to, or you can just keep having the things that you have. So we are super grateful that you were here. And like, we've all been somewhere where we're stuck, or we're in a hard place. And I know that transformation is just a tap away, just aiming into what is not working and focusing on what you do want more of. So we will be here next Monday. If there's any questions besides Gretchen, I would love to answer them. And then I'll talk to Gretchen on her own. Anybody?
Just to be clear, it may work for some of you. Just because hasn't worked for me doesn't mean it won't work for you.
Yeah. Andrew, comment, question? Very good. Well, thank you for being here.